All right, hi. Unified Facility Criteria 346003, January 21st, 2003. Operation and Maintenance of Petroleum System. Chapter 10 Recurring Work Group RWP. 10.1 General information on the safe, efficient, economical, operational petroleum storage dispensing system associated with the infrastructure depends largely on an effective, proactive, recurring, maintaining program. Installation ability to establish in its mission and increasingly dependent on the fully operational POL. The recurring work program (RWP) is the most effective means of ensuring critical systems maintained and elevated in civil and service rates. The guidance for this chapter provides standard procedures for serving the inspection of the POL. System components. This chapter establishes the required frequency intervals with requiring maintenance program. Deviations from the required frequencies listed in the chapter require prior approval from the available major petroleum facility engineer. Refer to the Air Force pamphlet AF PAM 32104 volume working in the Operation Flight Maintenance Engineering, Chapter 8 of the explanation of the preventive maintenance methodology used in the CE company. Alright, responsibilities to 10.2.1. The CE LFMM shop was, with assistance with the maintenance engineering shop, is responsible for developing an effective recurring maintenance program. The LFM shop foreman is responsible for the accurately identifying inventory for all inventorying all fuel system components requiring maintenance. The LFM shop foreman is reasonably for the time component completion for all maintenance actions identified by the recurring workforce program. Many of the components through the POL system may require some level of operator maintenance identified in TO 3711. The LFM shop foreman should be familiar with the operator maintenance requirements, verifying the work is properly performed. The operation maintenances are not considered preventive in nature and are not to be used and adjusted with the recurring work program. Or adjusted to be used, not to be used, adjusted by the recurring work program. Alright, 10.2.3 representatives. The LFM shop of the fuel maintenance flight will inspect the petroleum system weekly. All this, at least one inspection at least one inspection each month will include the liquid FM shop foreman with the fuel management flight commander FMC CC designated representative during the inspection. And status review of all the outstanding work will conducted with the LFM shop will verify the discrepancy are corrected and noted, and however have worked under numbers assigned. The LFM shop foreman is responsible for coordinating with the fuel management flight. Other applicable agencies are performing requiring maintenance that may affect mission accomplishment. 10.3. Recurring maintenance and inspection. The following paragraphs describe the required maintenance required to be performed by the CE personnel. The required maintenance frequencies are shown in the bold type in each end of the paragraph, subparagraph. In Table 10.1, the quick reference chart located with the paragraphs in the manual describing the preventive maintenance for each of the item. Alright, item number 1, the automatic control valves. Item paragraph and frequency. The the high level safety valve, operator valve 12 AF 10.3.24.11 semi-annually. Non-surge check 81 AF 10.3.24.12 semi-annually. Filter separator control valve 40 AF A2 10.3.23.13 semi-annually. Fuel ND fuel 302 AF valve 10.3.24.14 quarterly. These are all automatic control valves, Type 2 system. The refuel control 90 AF 8 and 10.30.24.21 quarterly. Dew fuel control 134 AF 10.30.24.22 quarterly. Rate of flow 41 AF 10.3.24.23 quarterly. Pressure relief 50 AF 2 10.3.24.24 semi-annually. High level safety operation 129 AF valve 10.30.24.25 semi-annually. Non-surge check 81 AF 8 10.30.24.26 semi-annually. Type 2 system modified rate of flow 41 AF 10 quarterly. Pressure relief 51 AF 4 quarterly. Type 3 system, the HL, the high level safety operation automatic valve 41.3 AF 50A 1024.4.1 semi-annually rate of flow 41 AF1 automatic valve 10.3.24.4.2 semi-annually the filter separator control valve 41 AF 2C 10.30.24.4.3 semi-annually the bypass control valve 58 AF 9 10.30.24.4 quarterly the defueling flush valve 58 AF 9 to 1 10 24.4.5 quarterly. The pressure control valve 58 AF 3 10 24.4.6 quarterly. High control valve 36.2 AF 8 10 30 24.4.7 quarterly. ESO valve 136 AF 90B 10 30 24.4.8 quarterly. Type 4 system hot pot. The high level safety operation 190 automatic valve 129 AF3A 10.3.24.5.1 semi-annually defueling flow valve flush valve 58 AF91 10.3.24.5.2 quarterly. The pantographic pressure control valve 58E 47 10.3.24.5.3 quarterly. The high control valve 36.2 AF5 7 10.3.24.5 quarterly. The ESO valve 136 AF9B 10.3.24.5.5 quarterly. Flush valve 136 AF5A 10.27.5.6 quarterly. Alright, hoses offloading are on section 10.3.2.1. Prior initial installation are as determined by the liquid fuel farm supervisor. Locals environmental requirements issue. The hose issue is 10.3.2.2. Prior installation of the determined liquid LFM supervisor local environmental requirements with an API 1529 hose is delivered to the hydrostatic certification from the manufacturer. Installation initial testing is not required. Manual valves. Lubricated plug 10.3.8.1 quarterly gate 10.3.8.2 quarterly. Non-lubricated plug 10.3.8.3 quarterly. Ball 10.3.8.4 quarterly. Meters. Master meter 10.3.12.1 annually. Meter calibration 10.3.12.2 annually. Drain water 10.3.12.3 weekly. Miscellaneous system areas 1031 as required. Surge suppressors 103011 quarterly. SIN markings 10313 annually. Pressure relief 10314 annually. Service station dispensers 10315 quarterly. Direct reading gauge 10316 annually. The DPPI transmitter 10317 semi-annually. Cathodic protection 10318 as required. PPE 10.3.19 annually or before use. Electronic components 10.3.20 quarterly. Hydrant adapters 10.3.21 semi-annually. Auto tank gauge 10.3.22 annually. Strainer 10.3.23 as required. Piping pressure test 10.3.61 annually. Hydraulics test 10.3.62 every 5 years. Exposed piping 10363, corrosion control 10363.1 semi-annually, identification 10363.2 quarterly, pumps general maintenance 10371 quarterly, lubrication 10 pumps lubrication 10372 quarterly or per manufacturer, pumps product recovery 10373 quarterly. Storage tanks vacuum pressure vent 103.4 semi-annually. Dikes 103.5 annually. Above ground 10331 storage tanks. Visual inspection 10311 monthly. API 653 every 10 years. Storage tanks. Floating roof pan 1032 sections. The storage tanks of the seals pans 103321 manual monthly. Roof and drain 103322 monthly. Roof drain antifreeze 103324 as required. Cleaning inspection without the filter separator coating 10333 every 4 years. Filter separator or coating the storage tank 10332 every 6 years. Filter separator and coating storage tank 10333 every 8 years. All right, 10.3.1. System areas, large grass-covered areas around the fuel system will be mowed and by basic and civil engineering personnel or by service contractor consulting the maintenance engineering shop with the question for concerning performance of the tasks contracted. Frequencies as required: 10.3.2 hoses, the 10.3.2.1 offloading hoses for the truck and tanker car offloading areas using 100 millimeter or 4-inch lightweight reinforced vacuum rated offloading hose. See Military Handbook 1022. A test per manufacturer instruction. Frequency prior to the initiation determined by the LFM supervisor. Local environmental requirements. 10322 issue hoses. The truck fill standard of the marine offloading aircraft refueling must meet the standards of the API 1529 hydrostatically testing one half the times the dead head shut-off head pressure of the system not to exceed the maximum working pressure of the hose. Note the hydrostatic hose of the real property installed with the equipment, or RPIE. Real property installed equipment is joint with the operator of the LFM responsibility. Yet, primarily responsible lines for the LFM shop foreman. The LFM shop maintains hydrostatic test records and performs the test. Mutual agreements with the hoses, testing, the refueling, the maintenance, or the recurring fuel maintenance shop. Hold one just a second. Is authorized. Encourage where possible ground product hoses with working pressure less than 20 psi do not require pressure. Frequency prior to the initial installation is determined by the LFM shop foreman and local environmental requirements. Manufacturer's recommendation. The API 1529 hoses delivered to the hydrostatic certification from the manufacturer. Initial testing is not required. 10.3.3 storage tanks. 10.3.3.1 above ground field constructed tanks. Visual inspection. Visually check for the exterior each of the tank leaking from the corrosion irregularity, tilting, settling, and out roundness. Given special attention to seams in the anchor bolts. Maintain a waterproof seal with the time chime ring wall foundation interface. Returning the record to the LFM shop for the 5 years. Scrape, clean, and repaint rusted and corroded areas. Frequency monthly. 10.3.3.1.2 out of service API 653 inspection non-destructive techniques to inspect all metallic surfaces, including the floor, every 10 years, floating in the roof and the pan. 10.3.3.2.1 clean, check the parameter tank seals, checking and cleaning the roof of the pan and performance of the task may require confined space entry monthly. Frequency monthly. For open and top roof tanks, ensure the center primary roof drain system is water-free. The drip the tight of the plug in place from the roof drain opening. The roof drain valve is closed and the drain valve is kept closed except for after each rain or snowfall when it is opened just long enough to drain the roof line monthly. The LFM shop foreman is responsible for training the fuel management flight personnel on procedures to drain floating roofs, interior dike basins. Once trained by the fuel maintenance flight retains once trained, fuel maintenance flight retains responsibility for the draining roof and interior dike basin. At locations when the freezing condition enter the liquid, LFM shop will float roof tranking drain line, anti-freezing de-icing fluid periodically test the anti-freezing fluid of the proper protection record result. The roof drain valve may be secured while having sign attached. Caution: winterized, do not drain. Frequencies is required. Tank inspection, cleaning requirements, aviation products operation, bolt and storage and dedication, inspection, cleaning frequency, foul governing environmental regulations, and stringent complete AFM form 172, and submit the major fuels facility engineering. The 10331 tanks without inlet filter separator micrononic filter on its inlet intercooling frequency every 4 years. Tanks with filter separate microconic filter on an inlet or internal coating every 6 years. 10333 tanks filter separator monitoring filter on the inlet and internal coating both on to the standard design. The frequency every 8 years. This may extend to coincide with the API 653 out service inspection every 10 years after first inspection is completed. 10.3.4 tank vacuum pressure vents, inspecting, cleaning, and repair where applicable. Inspection antifreeze in the spring fall, and a mixture of the equal parts of the water antifreeze will be used. Frequency semi-annual. Dikes and earthen Inspect the signs of erosion and vegetation annually. Use the fireproof chemical sterilization dikes and basins to prevent growth of the vegetation. Work should be done by the basic civil engineering and entomology personnel by contract. Frequency is required. Contract asphalt, cement, brick inspecting, indication repair is required frequency annually. Piping, pressure testing on the basis of fuel piping system using existing pumps when conditioning a test. Follow the guidance outlined in paragraph 2331. Frequency annually. Alright, 103262, hydrostatic test. When the hydrostatic pressure test is for underground fuel transfer lines, the product is normally tested. Is normally test meeting. Details and condition of the test are provided with the paragraph 2332. Consult your family facility engineer for the guidance in completing this requirement. The fuel facility engineer is approving the authority of all the waivers of the requirement. Dual pressure temperature compensating pressure test methods must be considered. With the approval of the major fuel engineers, the method may allow the test to be conducted faster than fewer blinds than the traditional hydrostatic pressure test described in 2332. Every 5 years. Exposed piping. Check all exposed piping valves and associated equipment for the corrosion. Prepare for surface and repaint as necessary semi-annually. 103632. Pipe identification must be conformed to military standard 161. Repaint as necessary frequency quarterly. 1037. Pumps. Check for unusual noise, vibration, overheating, leaks, or oil level. Frequency quarterly. Lubricate pumps and motors recommended by the manufacturer. Excessively greased bearings can cause overheating. Frequency quarterly or is that recommended by the manufacturer. 10373. Product recovery tank pump. The pump should be start with the liquid level reaches 70% of the tank total capacity and shut off with the level pump down to 20%. Frequency quarterly. 1038. Manual valve. Lubricated plug installed. The lubricated plug valves easy operational lubrication is needed for the difficult operation. Replace the valves immediately with the non-lubricated valves. All lubricated plug valves must be scheduled with the replacement. Frequency is quarterly. Manual valves gate. Lubricated operating, preventing seizing, adjusting, replacing, and packing as needed. Quarterly. Manual valves. Non-lubricated plug valves. Inspecting the case of operation and adjusting, packing, and maintaining operators per manufacturer specifications. Frequency quarterly. Manual valves ball. Inspect for ease of the operation. Lubricating operating quarterly. 1039. Filter separator. The filter separator element at the last point of the filtration is fixed and replace the element of 15 to psi DP every 3 years, which is whatever comes first. Replace the element of location of 20 psi DP every 3 years, whichever comes first. During the element of the replacement, clean the interior surface of the filter separator vessel. Second stage element. See the paragraph 3.3 for details and instruction. The API additional 4.5 and elements funding provided with the ESC. 10329. On determining the DP, the DP is a pressure at a rated flow of the vessel at 600 gallons per minute or 2 600 gallons per minute pumps discharging through 4 filter separators. Then the DP and 10 psi at 300 gallons per minute would be equal to 20 psi, 22 p71 liters per minute. But before charging an element, verify the pressure drops to 300 psi, 300 gallons per minute. Isolating the filter separator, it receives the 300 gallons per minute and it measures the DP. Particularly critical for the Type 3 systems where the fuel from the verifying pumps flows from the multiple filter separator in order to the systems of a 4,542 liter per minute gallon or 12,000 gallon per minute. Filter separator decided in 2271 liter per minute pump. Change the elements to the filter separator 2271 liter or 300 liter a minute per vessel. If the DP across the vessel suddenly drops 3 psi more than same flow, check the vessel is damaged element. Note, before placing a filter separator back in place, contact the fuel maintenance flight to ensure the flushing and sampling is accomplished. TO 42B11, quality of control fuels and lubrication. 10310 microfilter, determining the filter element requirements manufacturing data after the 200,000 gallons of fuel has been passed through the elements, which occurs first. The major com fuel engineer must extend the filter replacement based on the DP or through the put of the installation. 10311 surge suppressors check the pressure setting and adjusting in accordance with the manufacturer's specifications. Frequency quarterly. Alright, moving on to testing calibrating meters, component wearing, accumulation solid, periodic calibration necessary. Certified masters are required or used to meter the calibration for the connection hose from the hydrant outlet fill steps in the meter from the master meter to the tank truck or servicing vehicle calibrated master meters annually. Test the meters in predetermined flow rate calibration setting between 20% to 100% capacity. Meet the satisfactory meter error in no flow direction within 0 plus or minus negative 0.2% of actual quantity. Deliver the 1.2 gallons for a 600 gallon test. Calibrate the service station meters with 0. Plus or minus 0.2%, adjusting the meters according to the manufacturer's recommendation. Use the stencil embossing the tape and permanently marking the installed meters. Frequency annually. Alright, continuing with meters. Meters will install, but the drain plugs will be drained water and sediment with the fuel maintenance flight personnel. The liquid fuel LFM shop foreman will ensure the draining of meters from the proper connections. 10-3-13 sign marks. Check the sign marks for adequate readability. The AFOSH 79138 section 3.2 for description of the sign location. Military standards 16.1 F2 indication of bulk petroleum systems, including hydrocarbon missile fuels, for marking requirements. Frequency annually. The pressure relief. Check the system for pressure relief to ensure the proper operation. Test and or pressure relief with the value of 10% above the system deadhead pressure not exceeding 275 psi. Repeat the test if applicable minimum of 3 times and to ensure the proper operation. Not all pressure relief tests. If applicable, not all pressure relief valves are set at 10% above the maximum operating pressure. Thermal relief valves must be set to allow cascading of the pressure back to the storage tank. In this case, the setting that you can use as set points specified in the construction documentation. Frequency annually. The service state dispenser check the operation belt alignment, strainer linkage, operation hose meter calibration, relief assembly, and automatic nozzle shutoff functions. Frequency quarterly. Direct readings or DP gauges calibrated in accordance with the manufacturer's specification. Piston type DP gauges require calibration using an U.S. Army Air Force engineering bases calibration procedure and a NATO stagnant 358 standard accuracy of different pressure gauges for the aviation fuel filters and separators. Frequency annually. 10-3-17 different pressure transmitter or the pressure indicating transmitter. Calibrate mechanically, electrically with the test equipment. Adjust if applicable. Calibrate in accordance with the manufacturer's specifications. Cathodic protection system. Cathodic protection is maintained with the basic cathodic protection technician or service contractor. The liquid finger farm will ensure the cathodic protection system to the POL system maintained with the basic cathodic protection technician in accordance with the UFC 3570 Operation 06 Operational Maintenance Cathodic Protection System AFI 32-105-4 closed interval soil structure potential piping surveying should be conducted initially within 30 days installation every 5 years thereafter. Frequency as required. 10-3-19 tank entry combined with the space entry, other personnel protective equipment, PPE, inspection for service cleanliness and deterioration. See the Chapter 11 for the details of instruction, service equipment in accordance with the manufacturer's specifications, frequently, annually, or before use. 10-3-20 electrical equipment. Verify the proper operation on electrical equipment associated with the operation and installation of the POL infrastructure. Identify necessary repairs of the zone electrical section with responsibility for the area. The typical inspection items must but are not limited to ground connectors, ground conductors, ground connections, straight starter connector, ground connectors, ground connection starter contactors, circuit breakers, air lighting, ground cabling, disconnecting switches, exposed wiring, emergency switch and flow switches. Frequency, check the electrical equipment quarterly. Hydrant adapters, check the leaks for damage semi-annually. Automatic tank gauges, calibrate the test equipment, adjust the required to ensure the gauge is free. Moisture debris at the automatic tank gauges is maintained in the contract under the Petroleum Marine contract. Contact the AFPET office for information. See paragraph 6327 annually. Frequency is annually. The strainer is inspection cleaning systems. Strainer's responsibility for fuel management, flight personnel, or liquid FM or the LFM shop will supply guidance for the other repairment place. Parts as required. Frequency as required. Automatic control valves. Following the list of the valves, the type of the system valve, the function normally shut on after each of the valve of the cloud valve designation acts of the frequency from required below the non-limited cloud valve. But all the the manufacturers will have the same function. Automatic valves not listed will have a quarterly recurring work program frequency. Note that the amount of the maintenance required on the listed automatic valves will vary with each inspection. The intent of the inspection is to determine the valve, the proper operation and performance. It is determined that the valve is operating correctly. Pilot control adjustment and main valve calibration is not required. 324.1 Type 1 Panero high level shutoff valve of the HSO valve 124 AF. When the tanker is filled with the check of the proper operation of the high level shutoff valve, check the high level alarms for the high level control valves. Set the valve activate the fuel level approximately 11 inches from the top of the tank. This should be not more than 95% full. Check the high level shutoff valve type 1 Panero semi-annually. The non-surge check valve 81 AF, check the operating speed approximately 20 seconds. Check the valve function semi-annually. The fuel shutoff control valve, the FSC valve at 40 AF, the 40 AF2A model. Flow rate, check the flow rate. Flow rate is determined by the filter separator vessel gallons per minute rating and elements flow rate, which is less semi-annually. Check the flow shutoff control valve, fuel shutoff control valve, and semi-annually. Alright, the water shutoff valve to test the fuel shut control valve, either engaging a flange float test button or lever with flowing the fuel with the filter separator, injecting the water into the ball below. The ball floats is on the up position, ensuring the filter separator control valve shuts off. The ball floats into the up position when the mission mandates the use of the water drain valves. Check the drain valve operating also. The drain immediately upon completing the test. Caution: before testing, only flow the minimum amount of the fuel through the filter separator to prevent system pressure spikes. Check the filter separator control valve on the 50 gallon per minute production recovery tanks. Newer type of 3 systems, the filter separator, the fuel shutoff control valve with emergency shutdown capability. Testing the frequency. The frequency for the inspection is when elements are changed. 10.3.24.14. The fuel defueling control valve 30 in the model 302 AF. Checking both refueling and defueling control valve features. Check the pressure relay, reducing control pressure, relief control, opening the rate, accessing fuel shut off pressure, defuel pressure, relief control, solid solenoid operation. See Chapter 3 for pressure setting procedures. Frequency for the fuel defueling control valve is quarterly. Type 2 Pritchard refueling control valve 90 AF8. Check the pressure reducing control, pressure relief control, operating the rate, assess flow shutoff and solenoid operation. See Chapter 4 for pressure setting procedures for excessive flow control. See attachment 3. Frequency for the refueling control valve is quarterly. Defueling control valve, check the solenoid operation quarterly. The rate of flow defuel valve, the 41 AF model, check the rate of the flow control. Check valve function sheet, set the flow for the 200 gallons per minute. Frequency quarterly. Alright, the pressure relief valve, check the pressure relief function. Typically, more pressure is than 10 psi above the normal inlet pressure of the 90 AF8. Frequency semi-annually. High level shutoff valve within that 129 AF when the tank is being filled with the check of the proper operation. High level control valve. Check the high level arms and high level control valves. So set the shutoff level at 11 inches for the top of the tank of 95% full, whatever is less. The frequency for a high-level shut-off valve inspection is semi-annually. Non-surge check valve, check the opening speed about 20 seconds and check the valve function. That is done semi-annually. Alright, moving on to a Type 2 modified perto system. Combination rate of flow solenoid shut-off check valve and check rate flow control check valve function solenoid function set at 200 gallons per minute. Do that quarterly. Combination dual pressure solenoid shut-off check valve, check low and high pressure relief function, checking the valve function, solenoid function, closing the speed control. See Chapter 5 for pressure setting procedures quarterly. Alright, Type 3 constant pressure hydrant fuel system, or the Phyllis system. The high-level shut-off valve when tank is being filled with the check of the proper operation, high-level control valve. Caution when testing the minimum flow rate of the necessary frequency semi-annually. In the Type 3 control constant pressure hydrant fuel system, Phyllis system, or the high-level shut-off valve is to be checked frequency semi-annually. The rate of Phyllis system, rate of flow, non-surge check valve, checking open the speed for the flow. The rate check of the valve function, typically opening the speed approximately 20 seconds. The typical flow rate is 650 gallons per minute semi-annually. The Phyllis system fuel shutoff control valve check rate for the flow check valve function, water shutoff features. Our typical setting is 600 gallons per minute semi-annually. Inspecting for frequency semi-annually. The back pressure control valve, check the pressure control, closing and rate of each solenoid operation, check valve operation, the typical setting of the 100 psi at the inlet for hydrant outlet, set the closing speed for the control as possible, which is set to maintain a smooth operation. Note, this valve typically uses the restrictor to aid in opening. The Phyllis system inspection quarter is for back pressure control valves quarterly. The defuel flush valve, check the pressure relief and check valve function solenoid operation, opening and closing the speed controls, typical pressure relief set point is 80 psi. A set opening closing speed control at fast speed, fast as possible, which still maintains smoothing operation. The inspection is quarterly. Alright, pressure control valve, the 58AF3 model, check the pressure control opening and closing, the rates and solenoid operation. Typical set point is 75 psi. The typical opening and closing speed is 3 seconds. The inspection is done quarterly for the Phyllis system. Hydrant control valve, check the pressure reducing pressure relief valve operating speed, dead man operation. Note that the high control valve is also located with the HS valve. Open hydrant control valve is also listed with the hydrant safety valve. Checks outstanding frequency inspections quarterly. Alright, emergency shutoff valve with the 136AF9B model, check solid solenoid operation, DP control, and quick closing feature. Verifying the valve closes within 10 seconds. The solenoids are energized, expecting during power feature. Failures with the ESO switch is activated with the typical setting of the differential control of 7 psi. That inspection is done quarterly for the Phyllis system. Product recovery tank overfill. Check the thermal relief of the overfill protection operation. Ensure the proper reserve tank holds the pressure. Typical setting for thermal relief is 200 psi. The OV overfill valve must be set to close and sound an alarm in the control room when the tank is 80% full. Ensure the pressure of reserve tank holds the pump deadhead pressure when the pump is deactivated. Note when the float in the tank rises of the overfill valve changes position, the pressure reserve tank will be decreased. The inspection for the Phyllis system for the product recovery tank overfill valve is semi-annually. Alright, so the Type 4 hot pit refueling system, the Type 4 hot pit refueling system. The high-level shutoff valve will, when the tank is being filled with the check of the proper operation, the high-level control valve. The valve is usually fail-safe closed pilot system. This means the control line ruptures, the main valve will close. Caution when testing the minimum flow rate necessary. Frequency is done semi-annually. The defuel flush valve, check the pressure relief, check the valve function, solenoid operation, opening and closing speed control. Typical pressure relief set at 100 psi. Set the opening and close speed control at the fast possible while still maintaining smooth operation. This inspection is done quarterly. Panographic pressure control valve, or PPC PPCV valve. Check the pressure control opening closing rate solenoid operation. Typical set point is 75 psi. Typical opening closing speed is 3 seconds. That should be done frequent and quarterly. Hygiene control valve. They check the pressure, reducing the control pressure, the relief control operating speed, dead man operation. Typical setting for the pressure reducing this control is reducing control is 45 psi. The pressure relief control must close within 5 seconds. When the system pressure reaches 50 psi, the typical opening speed of 20 seconds. However, to dampen the nozzle pressure wave, the operating speed may be retarded. The dead man is in releasing the dead man must close with the valve within 55 seconds. Note the valve is connected with the pantographic system. It's hydraulic operated. Frequency is inspection is quarterly. The emergency shutoff valve is quarterly inspection, but you got to check the operation and the DP control quick closing feature. The verifying the flows in 10-second solenoids are energized except for the during powers failures when the ESO switch is activated. The typical setting for the differential control is approximately 7 PSI. The emergency shutoff valve for the Type 4 hot pit should be done quarterly. The flush valve. Check the solenoid operation quick closing feature. Solenoid de-energizing when the system is placed in the pantographic flush. The Type 4 hot pit should be done. Inspection for the flush valve should be done quarterly. Alright, Chapter 11. Entry of inspection, cleaning, repairing, and coating liquid petroleum tanks.